Hello, 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 everybody. Happy tea with Tamara. I want my high bun to be higher. Wanted to be like all epic up there. And I wanted to face the way I want it to face. Does your hair ever do that? You like have this vision for what you want, and then it's like, nah, I'm not doing that for you. Today I want to talk about probably one of the most profound spiritual laws in bringing my business and myself to an epic level of possibility. So here's the thing, right? Like I know we've talked about it. Let me know that you guys are here in the comments too, because I like feeling you. Um, it's a really powerful thing, and this has come up a lot in the last couple months. These realizations that our subconscious mind is constantly creating at all times. Like more life is occurring in all times, whether, and we're going to talk about this in the law of polarity, whether it's more life in abundance or it's more life in lack at every moment of every single second of every day of every hour, whatever. Right? More life is happening. So it really does depend on our focus. Now, before the age of 7, we have a fixed subconscious mind. It creates patterns of behaviors. It creates, because the brain loves patterns, it creates stories, sabotaging, feelings, emotions that we get caught into, that are familiar, that are things that we know. And so we tend to just exist in these same patterns of behavior day in, day out, never shifting, never changing. Now, if you're in Rebel Unicorns, I wear my I'm a fucking unicorn shirt today. If you're in Rebel Unicorns, you know that there's something different exists. You would not be in this group if you have not somehow come in contact with information or like a community or this vision of moreness. Like there's something about Rebel Unicorns where we're like, I don't necessarily believe everything that I've been taught or told. It doesn't make sense to me. Like I have this urgency or this knowing that something is here for me. I'm meant to do something. Can I get some hearts or hands up if you agree with that? Hey, my husband just came in. Boom! And he brought me an island coffee shop only. It's called Serious Coffee. Like, what a great name. You can only get it on the island. But they have a stone ground London fog that makes me happy. And I know that sound effect could be offensive to some. But at the same time, it's amazing. All right. I want to come in and see if I can see you guys on my... Sarah Jane! Yay! There you are. So, here's what I want to share with you about the subconscious. So, generally speaking, in our energy body, in our chakras, these patterns of beliefs, these stories tend to be stuffed down into our bottom 3 chakras, right? So this is our root, this is community, this is our ability to find the space in which we feel connected to those around us. This is a really powerful thing, right? Because sometimes our family of origin is not the same community that we're here to serve, and there's discomfort in that, right? Because we have these stories that tell us family first, you have to do this, you have to do that, all that, right? And it really affects our environment. And the environment is key to actually expansion. What are we surrounding ourselves with? In sacral, our patterns of behavior often affect how willing we are to show up in our vision, in our work, in our, impact. And that's a sacral thing. In solar plexus, it's all about beliefs, right? And these beliefs have been given to us when we were just wee little tykes. And so we go about some time really believing we have to be this way. Don't know why that accent wanted to come out, but it did. And so we have in our lower 3 chakras a lot of tie-in to our subconscious patterns. Okay. And then we tend to be more conscious and have the ability to reject and accept information through our upper 3, and our heart is in the resonance frequency of where we all stand. So bringing this and tying this into a law of polarity is a very important fact, because a desire, we talked about this with the law of attraction, and a desire becomes the most important indicator of movement, right? More life in your world. So we have a desire, and I'm going to write a few. It could be abundance or money. Abundance, money. You can write what your desire is, right? And it's okay if it's money. There's no shame in money coming in because you need money to fund your movements, you guys. Rebel Unicorns, we have movements. Money is essential. Let's make money not a dirty word. Let's make money a powerful catalyst for creating the vision, funding the vision, honoring your movement. Your desire may be love. Maybe you want to call in relationships, right? Of any form, intimacy and delight. Maybe your desire is health, right? And so you're working towards a health goal and you want to have, just feel energetic every day. Let's make it simple and get a new pen here. Now, the thing is that in the law of polarity, and this was a big deal for me, so it started to really sink in when I had someone named Darla Ladeau on my podcast when it was Own Your Intuitive podcast. And she kind of gave me a synopsis because I tended to focus on my debt at that time, right? Like I could just see the debt. The debt was like calling out to me. It was like, how can you be successful even if you have debt? And I was like, man, it doesn't matter how well I do in my business. All I can see is this debt. And why this is important was because she said to me, Tamara, I need to tell you something about the law of polarity. And it's probably still in this episode. Whatever exists in one direction exists in the other direction, right? That's the law of polarity. We cannot have up without down, right? We're not just floating up into the universe and never coming back to our feet. We are grounded here because when we look up, I can't do this all day. I can't just look up all day. At some point, I got to look down, right? It exists in equal form. In up and down. I can look to my right and be like, I can't do this all day either. At some point I can look to the left. It exists. The ability to look in both directions exists. And so what we have here in the law of polarity is the fact that whatever your desire is, abundance, relationship, energy, it exists in the positive and it exists simultaneously in the negative. Because it has to, because everything that exists that is not form, we create. And what we create exists in all ways and all forms right here, right in this moment. And it can exist in the positive and it exists in the negative. The thing that is the most challenging is understanding that this is simply a choice. It's a choice. Y'all are being like, I don't know, Tamara. This feels really resonant, right? When you're looking in your bank account and you're seeing, that you have debt or that your bills aren't paid or that, money's coming out, but it doesn't feel like money's coming in. This feels really real. And I am not telling you that doesn't feel real. That feels fucking real. Okay. However, when Darla was talking to me, she's like, if you have that much debt, Tamara, I need you to know that equal value of debt exists for you right now in the field. Like you cannot have that much debt without having the equal value of abundance in existence for you right now. And I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. How could I not understand this concept of it exists in equal form in all ways at all times? So let's just say you guys have a goal of creating X amount of dollars in your business, right? So maybe you want to have $10,000 months. Maybe you want to have $30,000 months. Maybe you want to have $50,000 months. That exists here. It already has happened. The money is here for you right now. The minute you think about it, it exists. You have created an energetic field that says this is available to me. Okay? Now what happens is when we're talking about the bottom three chakras, we have a program that we were taught when we were kids, you guys. Think about this. That says that it is not there. Nobody ever taught us that it was there. These are not lessons we learn in school. We learn to focus on how it's not there. That, what you're dreaming about does not exist. I know for a fact, like when I decided to launch into the business of being an online entrepreneur and author, nobody understood what I was talking about. I had all of these patterns of my past, of my family saying things, right? I had my dad's head in my mind going like, are you nuts or are you nuts? Right? So we automatically default subconsciously to seeing what is not there. That is our program. That is what we have been taught. Those are the stories that were told to us. So of course the subconscious will go and look at what is not available. and say, you can't take this course, you cannot take this program, you cannot hire this coach because the money or the things are not there. And so I'm bringing this up because I need to tell you something right here, right now, that is absolutely the one thing you need to hear today. Being a rebel unicorn means you are crazy, okay? You are crazy. You are a misfit. You are, doing something that nobody else is willing to do because you believe what nobody else does. You understand that this exists right here, right now for you. And there are very few people who are willing to see the world this way. If you guys have questions, you can throw them up in the chat box. I get really riled up, but you need to you want some information, right? And so what do we do to go from not seeing it, right? Seeing it in lack, the patterns, the beliefs, the stories that we were told when we were to knowing that it exists. Comes back to the desire, you guys. The desire. What is? And so I did David Nagel last week, and he talked about desire as being from the stars. Like if you were to break it down into its meaning, of the Father, right, is one of them, and from the stars, which obviously for Stardust, that means a lot to me. So when we focus on our desire, when we imagine it, because the imagination is what our conscious brain can create, right? And it does not understand, the subconscious doesn't understand what is real and what is not. So our focus becomes the reality, right? So we can focus on what is not there, and we can focus on what we've been told, and we will manifest that. Bar none, that will happen. Then there's the alternate choice. And the alternate choice is to focus on your desire, even when you can't see what is happening, because you know it exists. You know it exists in form, in the positive, in the law of polarity, because it has to. Because it has to. And the thing that is your capacity here is to choose it. When you want to default to looking over here, because you will, because it is the known. Because the known is what we will always find more comfortable. It is what we will default to. It is what our subconscious brain will tell you, the ego will tell you. Because everything that is unknown is scary as fuck. And the brain does not know how to process what we don't know. It will tell you all the bad things that will happen in the unknown. And most people stop there. It paralyzes them because we have no proof in the unknown. We have nothing that our brain can relate to that can say, oh, you did this thing. How we get over here and stay over here is by proving a different result to our brain over and over and over again, by focusing on the desire and knowing it exists over here. And so every time, I'm going to draw another chart. Realize I like charts. I hope you like charts too. This was when David Nagel drew this one on last week, I was like, I'm going to use this fucking thing for the rest of my life because it is so true, right? So we have our current reality. We have the desire, the dream. And we have to go from one place to the next. We don't go from current reality to the desire or dream. We have to make shifts and changes within ourselves in order for this to become our reality. So opportunity will arise at all times. Every second of every moment, opportunity is coming to you. Yes? Yes. Heck yes. So in order for us to receive that or choose that, we change a behavior. We have to go into the unknown. We have to be willing to look into our energy body, see what patterns and stories we're holding in our chakras, and be willing to say, ooh, I got this from here and it's no longer serving me. Therefore, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to prove a new result. I'm going to teach my brain to see in the law of polarity the positive. Now, we do not get to go up the ladder without a shift of who we are. There's a shift of behavior. There's a shift in the neurological processing because we have been programmed to see the world a different way. We've been programmed to see it in the negative. And so we shift a behavior, we shift our actions, we shift in order to recognize that this exists, right? And I'll give you an example, right? I have a really amazing coach. She is epic beyond all ways, Jessie Johnson. And she was a high-end coach, and she costs a lot of money. And there have been many a month where I was like, I can't do this. Oh my God, how am I going to pay her? And I would get near the end of the month. And I would be like, will I be able to come up with this money? Will this be okay? And I remember the first time, and this was a game-changing moment for me, when I was walking to the hairdresser and I was like, Jessie, I don't have your payment. I can't do this. How did you ever think that I could be this client for you? I was mad at her, you guys. I was mad at her. How dare you? How dare you fucking believe in me? That was my real thought. How dare you see something in me? Because clearly I am not that person. Because I'm not making this goal. I only have so many days, and this is where ego will create a reality that is very convincing, that will tell you that you can't do it. I was moving. My hours were like, I felt like exhausted. Whatever it was. That was my story back then. Right? And then she calls me and she's like, this is what you're going to do. You have to give your brain a different result. Because all you have to do is prove it once. All you have to do is prove it once, and it will shift to you seeing that it exists in the positive. And I was like, I didn't believe her. I did not believe her. I'm gonna be straight. But I did it. I did exactly what she told me to do. And you know what I did? I made my payment. And it's come up multiple times now where I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? I have to make this payment. I have this big goal that I want to achieve, or this result I want in my business for my desire, whether it's a number of people in Rebel Unicorns or in a group, right? Whatever it is, the shift of what you are willing to do, and the shift of who you are, and the shift of what you've been taught, and breaking down a pattern, a story, or a belief to create a new reality. Because when you do this one time, your current reality shifts to seeing it's possible. So the law of polarity, the most important thing is that in every moment we have a choice to see it in the positive or see it in the negative. And that choice is dependent on the desire, not on our previous patterns. And in order for us to see it in the positive and to be willing to move towards our desire, it requires a shift of behavior. It requires a change in teaching our conscious brain what is actually possible by focusing on what is attainable, like knowing that it exists for us right here, right now. The curiosity of whatever it is, whether it's energy, money, or relationship, already exists right now. It is here for you right this second. It's a matter of what we're choosing. I don't know if there's any questions. I'm gonna look because sometimes my Rebel Unicorns doesn't come up on this. So let me know if you have any questions about what's going on. Doesn't look like there's any questions anywhere. If you guys want to know if there's a pattern or something that is going on in your energy body, which is creating the viewing of what you don't want in your life and business, right? Like, because it's easy. That's where our programs are. That's where our patterns are. It is all like packed away in your chakra system. We know exactly where it's coming from. It is an energetic vibrational frequency that exists within you that we can actually pinpoint and say it is here. If you want to know what that is, send me a DM, right? Send me a DM and we can set up a 15-minute hotspot check so we can find where your pattern is and we can redirect it to the positive. Sarah Jane says, when you're feeling stuck or like the ego is taking over, what do you do to overcome that? So personally, what I do is I do what I have to do to shift out of that state. So for instance, this morning, a hook came for me from Ontario, from one of my situations that I'm like a codependent fixer. That is my pattern. And so my son's boss called and said, hey, do you know where Ethan is? He didn't show up for work on Tuesday. Immediately I want to default into everything that could be going wrong right now, right? I have to fix this. I have to figure this out. I have to do all these things for Ethan. I have to whatever. I get caught into the drama. That is my pattern, and I'm exceptional at it, Sarah Jane. And so when it happened, it was like, okay, why is this happening right now? What is the reason that this is presenting itself to me? Because I am having an incredibly expansive time towards my goal. So here I'm walking, and this is my goal. When I'm getting closer to my goal, what's going to happen is my reality, my ego is going to find bigger ways to stop me because it feels really unsafe for me to get here. And this is a really powerful thing. This is one of the biggest things that could happen in my reality right now that could convince me subconsciously to stop. Right? That's to convince me to stop going towards my desire. This is what's happening in our reality. It'll start small, and then bigger things will happen that will literally become the anchor. And I know this. So the first thing that I need to do is change my state. Know that I'm focusing on the negative, and that the equal is there, that Ethan is fine, that he just is, maybe he got another job and he didn't want to quit this one. Maybe he, you know what I mean? There's so many ways that this is a positive and not a negative. So what do you need to do to change your state? You choose that. Because the discomfort is in the choosing. Right? The discomfort, it's this choice. A lot of people won't make this choice. We will go back into the pattern because it's familiar and because it's comfortable. So what do I do? Personally, it's funny that I posted it on Instagram. How do I connect with spirit? I connect with spirit by meditating and speaking to the trees. So in that moment this morning, I was like, what do I need to do? I'd already meditated. I was like, Jeff, we need to go for a walk. I need to get into the trees. Literally, there's one tree by my house that I makes me emotional. I went over and I just placed myself up against her, laid my cheek in her moss, and I just gave it to her. And let her transmute it for me right down into the earth, knowing full well that Ethan is being supported and guided by God. God's got way more equipped to take care of this situation. When we're looking up here, this is ease and this is drama, right? What are you going to choose to change your state towards your desire? What are you going to choose right now? Cassidy, this isn't a card one. This is me doing a form of sharing ways to accelerate our impact, our growth, our capacity to serve our communities. And this one was about the Law of Polarity. Alicia, send me a DM. I'd love to set up a time to connect with you, and we can look at that. But the choice is, you can do what you've always done and prove that it exists in the negative, or you do something immediately when you notice the pattern, and this is the mindset shift, right? To move you into the positive. And that's it. That's how you shift. Because it's going to happen all day long. And in the beginning, we are really getting gear. So when I talk about environment, right? Environment is really key. Where are you? Are you tolerating being in a place that triggers you all the time to go into the negative? Are you in a place where you surround yourself with people who trigger you into the negative? Or are you surrounding yourself with people who understand this and who are saying to you, yeah, I get it. Let's change your state. Let's get you moving, and calling you out to raise yourself into the knowing that it exists in the positive right now? Are they calling you out of your current behavioral patterns? Are they saying this is not the reality for you? Get your fucking ass into this positive right the fuck now. It's a choice. And you all are brilliant enough to make that choice today. Every single one of you. Right? Because you just need to change and give your brain a different belief, a different story. And the more you do it, it will imprint into your subconscious mind as the normal. And we're not taught it. And that's why we're all fucking unicorns. That's why you're here. That's my booyah today. Do love tea with Tamara. Didn't even take a sip of my serious coffee. I feel like I could be like a commercial for them. Please come to Vancouver Island where I will take you to Serious Coffee and we will enjoy a fine cup of java like you've never experienced before because they're serious about coffee. Ah! Can I send that to them? I think it'd be really good. Anyway, I love you guys so much. That's really the truth about the law of polarity. It's how I have built $1 million business, is by doing focusing so much on my desire, being relentless in the pursuit of it, catching when I'm going into my old patterns, redirecting into knowing it exists in form. Whatever I'm seeing in the negative exists in form in the positive. So what do I need to do to call that in? Because it exists right now. So where is it? Where is it? Get curious. Okay, spirit. Okay, God. Okay, universe. I know it's here. Where is it? And then be willing to do something that you've never done before, because it will ask you to shift a current behavior in order to receive it. Yeah? Yeah. Ding dong, ding dong. Eurovision, if you've seen it. Super catchy. I've watched it 3 times. Love you guys a lot. And I shall see you very soon. If you're watching on the replay and you have a question, throw it up there. I will come back and answer any questions that you guys have. If you want to DM me and say like, okay, I need to know where the box is that's causing the behavioral comfort to go back and cause the same result over and over again by a story, program, or experience that I'm storing in my chakras, let me know and we can hook you up with a 15-minute reading as well. Mwah! Love you, love you, love you.